Hello, welcome to the video and welcome to Medellin. It's more of a chill one than an adventure one, this video. If you keep watching, I might just have a bit of an adventure up my sleeve because we're currently in an Uber on the way from Medellin to Guatape, which is a big lake about 2 hours away. In an Uber now, then we're going to catch a bus, go over to the lake, some cool stuff over there, and we've been filling our days for the last couple of days. We've been taking it pretty chill, but we went on a tour to Communa 13, which is one of the most impoverished and dangerous sectors of the city. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. And then yesterday we went on a walking tour of the city. It's now our third day and we started nice and early, got the discipline in early, woke up at 6:30, in the gym for 7. Smashed a leg session. Things are ticking over nicely. Just paid for a day pass. It was like a £5 gym. We were in a bit of a rush because obviously we're going over to Guatape for just one night. So we're getting the 11 AM bus. So we had quite a quick turnaround. Then wanted to get the energy high, especially as we're filming today. Got a bit of food in and now we are en route to the bus terminal. We're gonna do this 2-hour slog now to get to Guatape. See you there. Hello and welcome to Guatape. We've made it. Painless bus journey, but I'm now hungry. It's 2 PM and I've got some promises to make you. We found a great lunch spot run by a French guy from Bordeaux, actually. It's called Guatape. No, it's not. We're in Guatape. It's called Guacrepe. No, it's not. It's called Guacrepe. So there's some sweet stuff and some savory stuff. I don't know what we're going to order yet. We're just waiting for a table. So today I want to get out on a jet ski before sunset. The lake's huge and it's beautiful. So many like little subsections to it. But one of the things that we've seen on the way through and that I looked up before is that you can get a jet ski out on the lake. So any opportunity, we're going to do that. And then by sunset, get on top of the rock as well. Piedra del Peñol. It's really tall. It's really rocky, pretty solid. And it's a good place for a sunset. And it only takes about 10 minutes to climb, I think. So let's get after it and see if we can fit it all in. Cool, it is now 30 minutes later and course number 1 has arrived. I've ordered 2 courses. Lasagna, a beef ragu lasagna, very excited. Course number 2 for me is, oh yeah, it's a creperie, so a savory crepe with chicken and vegetables. Very excited, because we had that light breakfast. I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, scrap that. This is not a lasagna, it's just covered in cheese, mate. I'm an idiot. This is the savory crepe. With chicken in it, not with beef in it. Then I'm gonna have a lasagna. Cool, thank you.
You're sure you will eat?
Oh, don't worry about me. Yeah. Hello, we've made it. Safe and sound to Lakeview Hostel, is that correct? Probably. It's called this, whatever you can see right now.
That is what it's called, yeah.
And fantastic news, there are jet skis available, so that's what we're gonna do. It's a beautiful, calm day. The sky is blue. Can't think of anything else more poetic to say, but the stage is set. What else is there to talk about? That food was good, wasn't it? That lasagna.
You're asking them.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it was good?
Looks good.
Take your guess. Correct, it was excellent. Right, see you on the lake. Okay, jet skis have been secured and we are now on Guatape Lake, ready to tear it up. How fun was that, Mike? First time on a jet ski?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Unreal. I insisted that we did it because it's always one of my favourite things to do. Anywhere there's an opportunity to get on a jet ski, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So time is of the essence now. It's 5:25. We've got to get into the rock by 6 PM to watch sunset. If you go past 6, they won't let you in. Super cheap, and the quickest way to get there is a tuk-tuk. The tuk-tuks cost us about $3 US to get there. It's like a 10-minute drive, and then it's in the region of $5 US each to get in to The Peñol. Am I saying it right?
La Piedra del Peñol.
What's a Peñol?
It's the area. Yeah.
I can pass for that.
Yeah, I think
to get to in the area. What a great day. It's working out nicely. No one said it was gonna be uphill. Not cut out for this. There's no one here. It's just us so far. Sunset is looking like it's gonna be decimated by clouds, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I'm actually pretty tired. I've only done about 11 steps. Let's get to the top.
leg day today.
Oh yeah, it was leg day. That's why. Makes sense now. Everything's an illusion. Wow, look at that. Hola. Buenas tardes. Para dos, por favor. Only 50% of people make it this far. So we're in the top 50% already. I can't see anything because of the cloud, but we made it to the top. Come up. Hello? I'm trying to talk here. So I must say, we've been pretty lucky with the weather in the entire trip. Never been rained on. Well, that's a lie. We have been rained on, but it's not really scampered any plans. And we might have a little bit of cloud, but we've still got a lovely view across the other side of the lake. So what's the plan for the rest of the next 2 days and for the rest of the video? You must be on the edge of your seat. So tomorrow, I'm gonna try and organize a boat ride to a certain drug lord's old house, his old holiday home. Because if you go on like a big group tour, apparently you can go and see it. But if you go on a private tour, you can go and see it, you know? So if that made any sense. So that's what we're going to do, hopefully tomorrow. And we've got two old troops from the Sandblast video, which you may have seen, Jordan and Nicole. They're here, and we didn't even know they were. We just saw their names on a board in the hostel that we're staying at. So we're going to link up with them, do that with them. And what else? Yeah, I'm going to tell you what else you need to do in Medellin, because we kind of brushed over it this morning in a rush. But I'm going to talk to you in more detail about that Communa 13 tour, because it was honestly mind-blowing, one of the best things I've done in all of my travels, and also the tour of the city and why the city is set up the way it is in a slightly more detail. But for now, let's get off this rock before it's too dark. Anything else to say, Mike?
No, that's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Good morning and welcome to day 2 in Guatape. All of my dreams came true last night. Probably shouldn't phrase it like that. I managed to plan a fantastic day. So it's 8:30 currently, and we've got a private boat tour on the lake. We found a lovely breakfast spot, and in half an hour after we've consumed our breakfast, we're going to be meeting the boat driver and going on a 2-hour tour all along the lake. He's going to take us to the best spots. It's actually the location of one of Pablo Escobar's holiday homes. The driver said that we're potentially going to be able to get off the lake onto his little plot of land and walk through his old abandoned house today as well as some other very cool spots. So I'm super excited. For now, Jordan and Nicole are just coming back, and our coffee has just been served, so breakfast will be any minute. And then we're gonna get on the boat. Cool, we've made it onto the boat and we're first out on the lake. Guys, reintroduce yourselves. Hi. Welcome to the video.
What's up, Jordan from Australia.
Ready for a big day on the lake. Our captain for the day is Stephen.
Hi.
Speaks perfect English. Look at him, chill already. Speaks perfect English and Spanish. So first stop is Escobar's house.
Yeah.
And then after we go to some cool spots to swim, or... Yeah, a bit, maybe, later, yeah. Perfect, let's get going. And we've made it to Pablo's house. The timing of this trip couldn't have been better because they've reopened it to the public as of 1 week ago, and we're here first thing in the morning. So no boats except for ours. And we're gonna be walking for about 40 minutes now, going through the entire complex. All right guys, slight change of plan. This house tour was far better than expected, and we've now got the opportunity to be the first people to play paintball here in 6 years since it's been completely shut to the public. And it warrants an entire new video. And now we're going for a swim on the lake before heading back and getting kitted up for the paintball. And welcome back to Medellin. What a crazy week it's been. I actually managed to fit in everything that I wanted to and more, so very thrilled with how it's gone. We've just made our way, since coming back, to the northeast of the city, to Park RV. We got told by our tour guide, which I'm going to tell you more about very shortly, that you need to take the cable car when you're in Medellin, and there's some cultural significance of that as well, which I'll mention in a second. So we took the cable car out from the centre of the city to the northeast, and we're currently walking through this jungly forest area to close off our time here. But before we do that, I need to tell you, as alluded to, the two other things that were spectacular and that you need to do when you come here. So one of the most famous things to do in Medellin is to go to Comuna 13. Every part of the city is divided into a comuna and a number, but Comuna 13 is the most famous of which, and one of the most impoverished because of the amount of conflict that is seen over the last 40 plus years due to cartels, gangs and trafficking. Colombia has had a pretty horrific reputation internationally over the last few decades, and that is really starting to change rapidly, and Comuna 13 is a fantastic example of that. So I wanted to go on a tour with a tour guide in private to go to the most touristy areas in the center of Comuna 13, and then to go out into how the people actually live with a local that grew up there himself. And this is how it went down. There's been major investments in social and education programs. The cable car line opened in 2008, which was crucial in connecting the comuna with the city centre and many other comunas around the city as well. It's now completely connected by a combination of metro and cable cars. In 2007, escalators were installed in Comuna 13 to help people move up and down it. Through the 2010s, murals and street art have taken over Comuna 13 and completely changed its reputation. So it's turned the most dangerous area of Medellin into one of the biggest tourist attractions in the city. And especially now, post-COVID, it's become so safe to go to in the last 5 or so years. You could see just how busy the streets were and how full it was of tourists and Colombians alike. And this was the point where we really enjoyed the street art and the dance performances in the touristy area. And then, thanks to Onofre, we headed up out of the busy area into the quieter segments of Comuna 13 for our own private tour. So we made our way through the comuna, experiencing it like a local. Took us to a local shop to eat some fruit, and then we went and sat down and had some local food. One which I particularly enjoyed was a fried potato with some meat in the middle. And then we went to an incredible place for sunset and into the darkness. The bar was called the Black House Viewpoint, and we just sat there on the roof looking over at the lights of the whole city. And then arguably the most impactful part of the tour was right at the very end. Onofre's grown up there his entire life, and as has his family and his mum, and he has a little house in Comuna 13. The family members have finally been convinced to move. His mum loved it so much, but he wanted her to move somewhere safer and better. And with the vacant house, they became aware of a family. The husband worked in construction and he fell multiple stories, fractured the back of his skull and his spine. Onofre found out about the situation of the family, managed to put them up in his house. The father started to begin his rehab work, and you can see how much of a better state he's in now, beginning to dance and shake off and starting to get his spine moving again. And the dancing is part of the father's rehab routine, but equally just a way to keep morale high in the evenings. For anyone that does this tour with Onofre, goes to visit the family, has a little dance. We all got roped into it. The first time I was willing to dance after hearing a story like that. It was such a fantastic and grounding way to finish the tour. Thank you so much to Onofre for that tour. It was absolutely incredible. So I'll put Onofre's details in the description if you're headed to Medellin and you want a tour that's not part of a massive tour group and you want to do something a bit more like we did on your own, then you can hit him up on WhatsApp. Fantastic guy, full of energy. And that brings me on to part 2, the second thing we did. We did a walking tour with the most renowned walking tour in the city. It's called Real City Tours. It's nice just to kind of settle back and listen to an expert tell you about the city. And like I said, the international reputation of Medellin is changing fast. The fact that so many more travelers are coming here and it's so much safer. It's great to be able to emphasize that on videos like this and partake in tours like that where we can learn more about the city, more about Colombian history and its people. So a brief history of the city of Medellin and the reason it's set up the way it is. I mentioned the comunas that are dotted all over the city. It didn't even exist, so the Spanish obviously invaded through Central and South America from the 1500s onwards, and Medellin didn't even really start to gather together as a city until the 1800s, when there was a very powerful psychostimulant drug that took over Colombia and the Colombian trade industry. And this is exactly how the tour guide alluded to the drug to us, and that's what I'm doing to you. And you must have guessed it right, it is coffee. So in the 1800s, it was a huge coffee trade, And so the business acumen of the men in the area, they started to gain experience and started to build the trade networks and the relationships, and that meant that the city started to form and form and form. There was an official government-funded centre of the city, but obviously it was rapidly growing, and so there was unofficial buildings and everything being dotted around, and that's why it's like this cluster, this amalgamate. How do you say amalgamation?
Amalgamation.
It's a big amalgamation of various locations now. And that takes us up to the 1970s, when another very powerful psychostimulant started to make its way through the country, and it's become world famous for ever since. And the Medellin Cartel was one of the biggest producers of cocaine for the country. With the business acumen, the relationships, and the foundation of the city, men could transfer all of their knowledge and their trade networks straight over from coffee to cocaine. The industry just grew and grew and grew. That circles back to the power struggles and the conflict that were apparent all over the city, like I mentioned in the Communa 13 section. So we had a fantastic walking tour all the way through the city, and there was one major thing that we finished with that stuck out above everything else, and I'm kind of going to repeat the story to you now. So the square where we ended the tour was the location of a bombing on June the 10th, 1995. 20 people were killed and many more were injured. There was a sculpture from a famous Colombian artist whose works is displayed all around the city centre. It was damaged and it could still be seen there. The government said to the artist, let's take the structure away, but the artist said, no, I don't want it to be a symbol of weakness. Let's keep it there, and I'm going to make a new one. And so the artist created a duplicate structure to display side by side in order to not forget and brush under the carpet the previous incident, but to show the strength of the Colombian people. Despite various tragedies occurring in the history of the city, the people remain so optimistic, upbeat. They celebrate all the positives of life, and maybe this is as a way to forget about the events of the past and move on and change the Colombian reputation. Milo, our guide, was incredibly proud of Colombian culture, the food, the music especially, the coffee and the people, and his final message was poignant. He hopes for a day where the next time he meets someone from another country or another culture, the first conversation he has about Colombia isn't cocaine, and it's about the culture, the food, the people, and the other aspects of the wonderful country as the reputation changes over time. So if you want to do a tour with Real City Tours, they have to book it in advance, and their details are in the description as well. Super grateful for those two experiences in the city, and to get the time and the opportunity to get over to Guatape as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. As I mentioned, we're in Park RV as well. We kind of ran out of time. I fly tomorrow. That's time up in Medellin, but we're going to do a quick loop of this forest now. And yeah, of course, I'll see you on the next adventure.
Oh, you want me to say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to. Like and subscribe.
No, say it with conviction and look
Please
at the...
like and subscribe. Adam Radcliffe at YouTube,
.com.
Instagram, Facebook.